Good evening, student. This video content is the first part of the chapter Power Sharing, class 10th, subject Social Science. Student, in this chapter we will start from we will continue where we left in the class 9. I hope you remember that in the class 9 we discussed various dimensions of democracy, starting from the very first chapter in which we understood that what is democracy and why democracy. Then we could understand that how much constitution has the relevance in a democratic country. After that, we discussed that the role of the election in promoting democratic values and democratic ideas, and last chapter was fundamental right or democratic right. Student, we will move here onwards with the power sharing, because power sharing also happens to be one of the dimension of democracy. You can say that when we discuss the chapter working of institution, we discuss that the power of the government has been now divided between the three organs, that is legislature, executive, judiciary. We have also studied in class 8th that in our federal system we have divided the various power of the governance between the three level of the government: central level, state level and local government. So you can understand that the very essence of democracy is power sharing. In the power sharing, we try to ensure that every group of every diverse group in the society, different organs of the government get equal share, so that the smooth functioning of democratic system and democratic government can be ensured. Before I start from the textbook what your content is, and before I start making the explanation, I want to make the clarification, student, here that this time I have made little change in making of the video content. What earlier when I made the video content, when there was lockdown situation, I did not have the board, so I had to make the explanation sitting in front of the camera, like right now I'm sitting. But I have decided that still I don't have the board, because I'm not going to school to arrange the board and making a video. But what I have done, that you can get some written content in front of you. I have made sure that instead of me facing you every time and explaining you, we can be going through the content in a PPT form. So in the coming part of this video, you will find that through the PPT form I will continue to make the explanation. So let us begin, student, using the PowerPoint presentation along with the explanation supported from my side. Alright, student, so let us begin from your NCERT book, Power Sharing, the first chapter of democratic politics. And as I said little earlier, that we are just moving ahead where we left in class 9. Power sharing, one of the dimension. So how it is a dimension of democracy? Because the very idea of democracy do not support that power should remain concentrated in one hand or few hand, like you have studied that in monarchy or in a dictatorial form of government, it was either king or the dictator who was controlling all the power. Democracy believe in decentralization. Now question is, what is decentralization? Decentralization simply means, student, that power is to be divided among the participating unit, be it the people of the country, be the various organ of the government, or if a country is very big and there exists a federal system, the different layer of the government enjoy different power with different authority and jurisdiction area. So we are starting with the power sharing, and before we start power sharing, we should understand that what is the area we are going to cover in this chapter. Student, this chapter, like you are very well aware that right from the class 9th we have explained everything by taking some case study or some cartoons or some other examples to help you understand better. In this chapter you will find case study of two countries, Belgium and Sri Lanka, and you will find that one country is living in a very harmonious and peaceful manner because they could successfully arrange the power sharing arrangement within the country. But on the other side, another country, I'm talking about Sri Lanka, has not attained the kind of system where people can live peacefully. You will find that over the last 25-26 years, Sri Lanka has witnessed a amount of intolerant situation people of the two diverse ethnic group continue to have made a struggle between them. After having discussed the Belgium and Sri Lanka, we would try to understand that why in democracy power sharing is desirable. We will discuss that there are two reasons. One is moral reason. Moral reason simply justify that power should not be concentrated in one hand, but it should be divided among the all group of people or all the organs of the government. But at the same time there is a prudential reason, because you will realize that when we do the power sharing, when we leave some of the power in return, we are likely to get something. You have seen whenever the coalition government is formed, you have studied in class 8th what is coalition government, when more than two parties, more than one party form the government, then it is called coalition. So whenever you find in the real politics, sometimes the parties which remain quite opposite to each other in the terms of their ideology comes together, the only reason is that they want to grab power, ensuring that they are going to have the fruits of or the benefits of the governance. They are going to be themselves in the power, which itself is an example that power sharing is desirable in its nature. After completing this section, the last section, we will discuss 4 forms of power sharing: horizontal, vertical, power sharing among the pressure groups, and the last one you will find that among the communities. So that is how, student, we will be covering the entire topic. Let us begin from the very first part. What is we must start with the definition of power sharing. As I said already, that power sharing is all about dividing the power, sharing the power among all the participant group in democracy. Very essence of democracy, very beliefs of democracy is that power should not remain in one hand. Just imagine under the monarchy or under the dictator, when king could have taken all the power or dictator could have taken all the power, he would not have taken the interest of the common people into consideration. Now this is where the things become important, because if people interests are not going to be taken care of, democracy is not going to be justified. We cannot say that the such country is democratic. So let us define democracy in a manner, power sharing in a manner like power sharing is a system of political arrangement in which power is shared between different organs of the government. As I said, that working of institution, the chapter in which we studied that how different nature of power is being shared between legislature, executive and judiciary, then between different level of the government. I also made you clear that in class 8th you have studied federalism, and after this chapter power sharing, our next chapter will be federalism, in which we will understand that how 3 different layer of the governments, that is center government, in our country we call it union government, state government and local government, share the power between them. Also power can be shared among different social groups and between different political parties, pressure group and movement. So this is the basic definition of democracy. We will try to understand using some of the cases of some of the case studies, that is of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Your book is starting with giving an idea about the ethnic composition of Belgium. Look, Belgium is a very small country in Europe, sharing its border with France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. Now question is, what do you understand with the word ethnic composition? Any idea? Have you ever gone to this word? If I remember in class 8 there was a definition to you in the chapter in the civics portion, but let us go through what is textbook of your is making clear. Ethnic composition means a social division based on shared culture, where people feel within the community, within the country, if they feel that they are belonging to same ethnic group, believe in their common descent because of similarities or of physical type or of the culture or both. That is written in your textbook. It simply means, let me explain what this definition means. Ethnic group, people used to believe that they are more of one nature because of any similarities what find among certain group of people, and because of this they find themselves not getting very friendlier with the other group which is not as similar to their community. This could be a historical reason, common genetic origin, common religious belief, but it is not necessary that it is to be same religion or same nationality. Sometimes people within the same nation can be divided. Sometimes people within the same religion you can be finding divided. Various religions are there. You must have seen various examples across the world that among the Muslims there are Shia and Sunni community. Among the Hindus there are various caste and sub-caste group exist, and sometimes they used to get themselves united in a negative sense, means that they want to attain certain benefit at the cost of the other group. So this ethnic composition of Belgium is very complex. How it is Belgium, I have tried to show you through the pie diagram, that you can find that in this part of the world, Dutch people lives in the Flemish region. A map is also shown over here. 59% people are Dutch. 40% people lives in the Wallonian region, that is French, and the 1% people live in the German region. Let us take the map into the consideration. Look, the red color portion where it is Wallonian region. It is the Walloon region, that is where the French people of the French speaking community live. Then you can find the yellow region, the Flemish region, where Dutch speaking people live. And you can find one interesting fact, that the country has the majority of the Dutch people, those who are 59%, and 40% people are French. But in the Brussels, which is the capital of this country, has opposite equation. Those who are in majority in the country are in minority, they are only 20%, and those who are in the majority in the country, those who are in the minority in the country are in the majority in this part of the world. So what you can find out of the country's total population, as it is mentioned, 59% lives in Flemish region and speak Dutch language, and another 40% live in the Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% of the people, those who are from the Belgium, speak German language. So student, because of this, one more thing has happened. The minority community, it means the French speaking community, is comparatively rich and powerful, while the other, those who are in majority, those who are in 59% proportion, that is the Dutch speaking, they have remained little backward, that the benefit of the economic development and education was attained to this community quite late. This has made a very tense situation, especially between the decade of 1950 and 60. So this tension between the two community was especially more disturbing in the Brussels region. Brussels presented a special problem, that Dutch speaking people constituted a majority in the country but a minority in the capital. What it means that this is a very different kind. That's why your book is writing that ethnic composition of the Belgium is quite complex in nature, and which is making a situation further complicated, because one community, number one, that on the basis of their language they are different. Second, on the basis of their different level of economic development and education level, they are also not same. And this has created problem, more acute problem in the capital city Brussels, where the majority of the country, Flemish, living in the Flemish region, that is the Dutch, are in minority, and the minority French people living in Wallonia region are in majority. Now moving to another example, student, another ethnic composition, that is ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is our neighboring country, an island nation. Sri Lanka has a diverse population, and you will be finding that this diverse population, where 74% people are Singhala speakers, and remaining people among them, among the remaining people, 18% are Tamil speakers. You will be finding that among the Tamil there are two subcategories: Sri Lankan Tamil, those who are the original habitats of this country, and then there are Indian Tamils whose forefather went over there as a migrated labor. We will be discussing that indentured labor in the history chapter, that those who were taken during the British period to work over there and got settled. So these people are known as Indian Tamils. Apart from this, the Singhala speaking people, those Singla speaking people follow the Buddhist religion, while most of the Tamil are Hindus and Muslim. You will find that there are also 7% Christian who live in, and they are both Tamil and Singla. So that is how the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka we have discussed. You can see the map in this ethnic part. You will be finding that the maroon color is showing that the Sri Lankan Tamil and used to live in the northern part and the eastern part of the Sri Lanka, while the western part and the remaining part, it is dominated by Singla. Indian Tamil used to live in the southern part. You can find some of the area shown with the maroon color over here. In the coming portion of this chapter, we will understand, student, that how this ethnic composition has disturbed both Belgium and Sri Lanka, but one could find a successful solution for the ethnic problem, and there is no problem existing now. But on the other side, another country has taken certain measures which has remained the major concern for the country. I'm talking about Sri Lanka, where people have remained in a situation of violence, in a situation of distrust among themselves, that we will discuss in the second part of this chapter. Thank you, student.